Okay, so you're going to start by reading the instructions. I said every time you get a question, you have to read all the information that's given. It doesn't help that you just jump to the transactions. And a lot of you are actually doing that. You're going straight to the transactions in your journals, and then nothing makes sense. Okay. So it says the following balances appeared amongst others in the books of Euro Traders on the 1st of July 2013. Can you see that's the 1st of July, and my transactions are for July. So I know I'm doing my books for July. Okay. Sometimes this might say 30th of June, and that will say July. Then which month are we doing books for? July. Always the journal month. So July. Okay. In the general ledger, it gives you opening balances. It gives you creditors' opening balances, debtors' opening balances. These two go where? To your creditors ledger and your debtors ledger. Those are opening balances for those ledgers. Then gives you instructions. You need to prepare the subsidiary journals. Subsidiary journals just means your journals. Those 4 journals, and then post to the debtors and creditors ledger and to the general ledger. First thing that you do is you would go fill in all your details. So the names of your journals, their numbers. Okay, so I've already done that. Do that for all your journals, your debtors journal, and debtors ledger and creditors ledger for both. Okay. Then, what do I do next? Can I just start with transactions now? No, I'm going to classify my accounts, and I do that first because it helps me put in opening balances on the correct sides. Okay, so we've got a cash receipts journal. It's not an account. I don't classify. Cash payments journal, creditors journal, debtors journal, I don't classify. Then if you move on to the next page, why don't I have it? Oh yeah, yours says creditors ledger. It should say debtors ledger at the top here. Okay, so this is your debtors ledger. You've got 2 debtors ledger accounts and 2 creditors ledger accounts. What are debtors classified as? Assets. So assets are plus minus. Debit means plus, credit means minus. So this is how you're going to classify these accounts. You're not classifying, you're just putting a plus and minus in. Creditors are classified as what? Liabilities. Liabilities are minus plus. Okay, and this seems stupid, but you need to do this every time. Otherwise, if you get asked the debtors and the creditors ledger in the same test, like you will in your next test, you're not going to know what side to put it on. You're going to forget. Okay. Move on to your general ledger. Quickly classify. Debtors are assets. It's plus minus. Trading inventory is an asset. It's plus minus. Bank. It tells you it has a debit balance, so it's an asset. Creditors are classified as what? Sales is an owner's equity and cost of sales, so they're both minus plus. But in the nominal section, it's important that you tell me whether it's an income or expense. So what is sales? Income. And cost of sales is an expense. Okay. Once you've done that, now I can start putting in these opening balances. We go to our general ledger. In bank, you put in 4,250. This is where you use dead click. Are assets dead or click? Dead. So I'm going to put it in on the debit side, July the 1st. It's a balance sheet section account, so you're going to write balance brought down. 4,250. Okay, and then I would suggest that you just tick off that balance so that you know you've used it. Wages, go to your wages account. Were you asked to do it? No, so I don't need to use that opening balance for anything, so I'm going to just cross it out. Okay? Trading inventory 2,100. Trading inventory is an asset. Are assets dead or click? Dead. So you put it on that debit side. Not August, it's July the 1st. It's still balance sheet section, so you write balance. Brought down 2,100. And then you've got a sales amount. Go to your sales account. Incomes, are they dead or click? Click. Does everyone understand the date click thing? Okay. What section are we in now? Nominal, so we're going to call it a total. Rolled forward, 50,000. Okay. Then you have opening balances for 2 creditors, Isaac Stores 380 and Nikki Wholesalers 400. So go to your debtors ledger, or sorry, creditors ledger, and you're going to fill in these opening balances. You're going to say July the 1st, balance brought down. Remember, this is a debit column, credit column, balance column. You're not allowed to put an opening balance in debit or credit. You just put it in the balance. And it's 380. Okay, you can then tick off Isaac Stores. Then Nikki Wholesalers is 400. Go to Nikki Wholesalers and you write July the 1st. Balance brought down. In the balance column, 400. Okay. Tick off Nikki Wholesalers. Now we're going to go to our debtors. We've got N Saunders 899. And then Prof Chandra, I've got balance of how much? 825. Okay. Now what do I do? Okay, now I can start with my transactions. Can you see why, especially in your debtors and creditors ledger, why it's important to first put in your opening balances? Because if you had started with transactions before that, your balances would all be wrong. Okay. So let's start our transactions. We start with the first one. I'm going to underline keywords. It says Mr. Tim King, the owner, increases capital to 65,000 by depositing a check into the current account of the business. Issued receipt number 52. Now there's a mistake here. They should have written or told you a capital balance at the beginning here as well. So please add it. I'm telling you that the capital balance in the books is currently 50,000. If you see that word to with a capital transaction, it means if he's increasing it to 65,000, how much is he giving? 15,000. Okay. Yes.
I just need to get my glasses from the city.
Okay. Which journal does a receipt go to? Okay, it goes to a CRJ. So go to your CRJ. Remember, CRJ will show money received. Document number 52. We're receiving money from the owner, so that's why it's CRJ. Date is the 1st. I'm going to just say T King. How much is he giving? Not 65, he's giving 15,000. Before you write in bank, you need to check in your transactions. Did we receive any more money on the 1st? Can you see there's a cash sales transaction that also goes to CRJ, which means I'm not going to write in bank. What was this 15,000 rand for? There's no capital column, so you put it in sundry, and you're going to write capital. Okay. This transaction doesn't affect any of my debtors or creditors, so then I'm done with it. I'll move on to the next one. Cash sales according to the cash register roll. Cash sales and cash register roll tells us which journal. Okay, I'm receiving money. If it's a cash sale, so it goes to your CRJ. Your source document is a tick. Date is still the 1st. If your source document is cash register roll, and you sold goods, you write sales and details. It was only 160 Rand. Okay. It's the last amount I received for the day, so you underline analysis of receipts. We take 15,000 plus 160, it gives us 15,160 in bank. Please draw a heart around your sales and cost of sales. This was for sales. As soon as you've written in the sales column, you must calculate cost of sales. To calculate cost of sales, can you see in the information it says profit markup is 30% on the cost price next to the transaction. So my markup is 30%. You're going to take 160 times 100 divided by what? 130. Okay. And it gives you 123,07. I'm going to tell you, if I gave you an exercise like this, I'll probably tell you to round off to the nearest rand. So you're going to write 123 in cost of sales. Does this transaction affect the amount of any of my debtors or creditors? No, so I'm done with it. I'll move on to the next one. Next transaction says, issued the following invoices. If I'm issuing a source document, am I buying or am I selling? I'm selling, okay? If I issue an invoice, am I selling on or for cash or on credit? Okay, the invoice tells you you're selling on credit. Which journal is that? Okay, it's your debtors journal. You're issuing an invoice, so it goes to your debtors journal. I'm selling to two separate debtors. The first one, invoice number 41 to N. Sanders for 650. Go to your debtors journal. Okay, document number 41. Date is the 5th. You fill in your debtor's name. Sorry, is the date the 4th? Okay. This will definitely affect the amount that I owe my debtor. Do you agree? Oh, sorry, that my debtor owes me. Do you agree? So I'm definitely going to put it in my debtor's ledger, which means you're going to refer to the debtor's number in the debtor's ledger. So you're going to write your DL1. They gave you the selling price of 640 and they gave you the cost price, so you don't need to calculate, 512. Then you say, it does affect the amount that this debtor owes me. Do you agree? Yes. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to update the balance that I've currently got for him in the debtor's ledger. So I go to your debtor's ledger, date is the 4th. If it's from your debtor's journal, the debtor's journal source document is an invoice. So you're going to write invoice number. We said it was 41. I recorded this invoice in DJ number 7. Now, if a debtor is buying from me on credit, does he owe me more or less? He owes me more, so you're going to put it on the debit side, and you put the selling price on the debit side. You then take your balance, you add 640, so 899 plus 640 gives you 1,539. Okay. Then we're done with that transaction. We move on to the next invoice for that day. Okay, it also goes to your debtor's journal. It's invoice number 42. Date is still the 4th. His debtor's number is debtor number 2. Sales is 640, it's 300, and it tells you in brackets that the markup on that sale was 25%. So you're going to take 300 times 100 divided by 125. Gives you 240 for cost of sales. Does it affect the amount that this debtor owes me? Yes, so I'm going to go to his account and update his balance. Date is the 4th. What do you write in details?
Invoice number 42.
It's DJ 7. Does he owe me more or less? More, because he bought 300 Rand more, so 825 plus 300 gives me 1,125. Okay, next transaction. Isaac Stores sent us an invoice. If someone sent us an invoice, are we buying or selling? We're buying. If it's an invoice, are we buying for cash or are we buying on credit? We're buying on credit. Which journal do we enter credit purchases? Okay, creditors journal. Go to your creditors journal. It says specifically, they sent us an invoice and we renumbered that invoice to number 25. Okay? So we're going to write in the creditors journal, document number 25. Date is the 5th. It's Isaac Stores. Will this affect the amount that I owe Isaac Stores? It means I need to take it to their creditors ledger. What is their creditors ledger account number? They are CL1. Now let's have a look. If you go buy various things from the same person, are they going to give me 2 invoices? No, they're going to give me 1 invoice for the total. So let's work out. It says we bought 2 17-inch monitors at 1,000 Rand each. What is 2 times 1,000?
2,036 will be dollars.
Okay, and then the ink cartridge is 36, so the total is 2,036 for this invoice. Okay, so what you're going to put one amount in creditors control. What would 2 17-inch monitors be? Okay, equipment. I'm going to use it as equipment. So you write in details equipment, and then the 36, the ink, is for stationery. If there was no column for stationery, you could just add it under sundry, then your next transaction would start in the next line. But you don't write here again, and you don't put a second invoice number. Okay, it affects the amount that I owe them, so I need to go update their creditors ledger account. So go to their creditors ledger. Date is the 5th. If I'm buying on credit, what was my source document? It's an original invoice. For this, here you can just write invoice. Number 42. CJ7. Now, the plus and minus the other way around. So if I owe them more, I'm going to put it on the credit side. Do I owe them more if I'm buying on credit?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to put 2,036. Okay, and you're going to add the 2 together. What do you get as your balance? 416. Okay, next transaction. Okay, Euro Traders employs 3 shop assistants, each earning 180 Rand per week. That's just information. It's not telling me that I'm paying anything. The next sentence is, it says cash to check, 62 for the weekly wages. Which journal do I put cash checks in? Okay, it means I'm paying money, so it goes to your CPJ. And your CPJ, why does it say 62? We've already had a, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong, it's right. 62, date is the 7th. For wages, what do we write in details? Cash. And you're going to say 3 times 180 to calculate how much they owe you, how much you're paying them, which is 540. Which column are you going to put it in? Okay, you put it in the wages column. It doesn't affect a debtor or creditor, so you move on to your next transaction. Okay, so we're done up to there. It says on the 10th, Petrelli Brothers delivered goods ordered from them. 1,500 Rand less trade, 10% trade discount, paid by check. First decide what the journal is. If I'm paying by check, which journal does it go to? Okay, it goes to your CPJ. What would goods be? Trading inventory. Did I buy the trading inventory for 1,500?
Please note that all